There we go. All right, we've been granted the go ahead by the Zoom lady. So, welcome to Inner Strength Check podcast. Joined today by Dave Chavarri from Metal Legends Ill Nino. Dave, how are things
What's
going?
up, bro? How are you, sir? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Oh, good, good. Everything been, just anxious and getting ready for to come over and take over Australia for sure.
Well, on that note, it's been quite a while, mate. So, it's been 8 years since your last tour of Australia.
It has been, man. We
Hmm.
uh we cannot wait to get back. I mean, we're just talking about some of the shows, and our first time in Australia was in end of 2005 with 2006 with Static X. We did a co-headline tour with them in Australia, and then we came back for the Soundwave festivals, back
Hmm.
to back to two different Soundwave festivals, and then now we're doing an actual headline run. So
Hmm.
we can't wait. We can't wait for sure.
Mm. So this is going to be your first time in a long time doing a headline tour of Australia.
Yeah, because in the past, we have a 45 minute, 45 minutes here, 45 minutes there. All of a sudden, now we can do an hour and a half, an hour. So in the past, we've done maybe 45 minutes, 50 minutes. The first time you're going to see a 90-minute El Nino show.
Wow. Yeah. The fans are going to be loving that.
Yeah, we're going to be doing, we're doing all the singles and all the hits from Revolution, as well as Confession, a couple of One Nation Underground, and then some new music that we are going to be releasing in June.
Awesome. Awesome. So on that note, with the new music being released in June, how are you guys feeling about that? What's the sort of the
We are actually starting the recording process, and it's going great. I mean, I'm very proud of the new music. All
mm,
the guys have, all the guys in the band really stepped up and sent a lot of kick-ass material for us to choose from, and it's sick, man. I mean, I can't fucking wait. I mean, it's like I was saying before, it's like El Nino, on crack, man. It's the heavy shit is heavier. The singy stuff, the more melodic vocals are more melodic, and
mm,
it's definitely a modern twist, a more electronica twist on El Nino that kind of like where new metal is kind of going now.
mm,
Um, with bands like Bad Omens and bands like that are
mm,
blowing the fuck up on a worldwide level.
mm. So on that note too, so you mentioned that new metal's going in that sort of direction. That might be something, I guess, from the average person's perspective, the genre might feel locked in place, like locked in a certain time. And
I think that new metal is bigger than ever right now. I mean,
mm,
Korn is bigger than now than they were in the early 2000s.
mm,
Bands like the Deftones are bigger now than they were in the early 2000s,
mm,
and that's because of of TikTok and all the social media shit that and kids become very endeared to all older, cooler songs, and
mm,
it's definitely brought new metal back in a huge way in a big forefront. I mean, look, I've always loved Korn. I've always loved the Deftones, but
mm,
the Deftones back in the heyday were not selling out the Madison Square Garden in New York.
mm, mm,
They just sold it out, no fucking problem. Disturbed just sold it out, no problem. You know,
mm,
bands like that are the new metal genre are killing right now. They're doing great, and I'm happy for them. I'm happy for bands like that. I'm friends with the Deftones guys. I'm friends with some of the Clone guys, and same, especially with the Disturbed guys. Those guys are my family, and I'm super proud of them. I'm super happy for them that it's going
mm,
so well for them in a career, for sure. It's great to
mm,
see. Other bands don't really understand that bands that paved the way back in the early 2000s are paving the way again for all the newer bands. You
mm,
know?
mm,
Yeah,
mm. How does that sort of, because it definitely has felt like a bit of a resurgence of the new metal genre, especially in the last few years. How does that
totally.
compare to, say, what the kind of the feel, the ambient feel about the genre was, say, last time you toured? Because that was 8 years ago. And at that time, the genre wasn't sort of, you didn't have a kind of a second wave of bands as much as you did, I guess, coming to Australia this time around. We also didn't
Yeah, I
have
mean,
those platforms like
I think
TikTok,
it's
etc.
I think it wasn't huge then, but we had fucking amazing tours like like Soundwave Festival that
Mm,
brought this fucking amazing festival to everybody that everybody could sink their teeth into, no matter whether you like brutal heavy shit like Hatebreed or Pen Upon a Burning Body, or if you loved, very singy shit like Five Finger Death Punch
mm,
and bands like that, and Disturbed and Slipknot and Zombie and Rob Zombie and everybody else. And I just think that, um, yeah, I mean, we always had festivals in Australia that brought everybody, all the metalheads together.
mm,
But now that new metal is back, I think that all the new metal bands are just doing well. They're doing well all around. I mean, look, we're very happy where we're at right now. We have
mm,
a co-headline tour starting in July 2nd in America with our buddies in Powerman 5000. That
mm,
tour is selling amazing right now. It's going to be a sold out tour. Um, that's July 2nd through August 2nd. On August the 3rd, we fly right from the last show. We fly to Europe and we do all the major festivals from August 2nd to August 18th.
mm.
We do 6 festivals. We're supporting Machine Head on one of the shows in Holland, and then we're doing a couple of headline shows, and that's fucking insane.
Mm,
You know, and after that, we have 2 weeks off. Then we're coming to Australia and New Zealand. We can't wait to do that. And then when we finish Australia, we'll be home around the 20th of September. And then October 10, not even 2.5 weeks later, we are embarking and going to South America and Mexico. So we're basically doing 4 continents in less than 90 days.
wow,
Yeah.
that's an impressive feat. Yeah.
Yeah, we're working, man. We're working. We're getting ready. We're ready. We're ready to back a new record. We have a new record, and at that point, a new single, and the fucking new music is so strong, man. It's so heavy. It's so memorable that I just can't wait for people to hear it. I think people are gonna trip the fuck out and be like, oh my god, like these fucking like you ever like hear like I heard the new Deftones record, right? I hear the new Corner album. It's been a while, but
Mm.
certain bands you hear a record and then you like you look around to your buddy or whoever, you're like, these motherfuckers are back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm,
I know everyone's done that. I'm
mm.
sure you've done that.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a band that you like, and you look around, you're like, fuck, these motherfuckers are back.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and that's what this new El Nino album is going to be like. It's like these motherfuckers are back. You know?
Mm.
Yeah.
So there's a span of, I guess, when we're talking about in terms of obviously how passionate you're feeling about the new music and how much it's still going in new directions about all this time, and still going on world tours, that sorts of things. What keeps you guys, I guess, what keeps you and what keeps you as a band going? I guess, having
Love
such.
of music. Look,
Mm,
look, El Nino. I started El Nino in 1998. It's
mm,
my baby. It's very dear to me. I hold it very close to me, and I
mm,
love the band. I love everything that we've achieved as a band, and the trademark of the band has achieved. Um, More now, it's definitely sometimes you have to swim upstream,
mm,
and we've had our issues, where we have to work through them, and I think that to me it makes me stronger, makes us stronger, makes us
mm,
closer as a unit. Like my right hand guy Lazaro Pina, my bass player, which is and also my percussionist Danny Cuoto.
mm,
Dan Lazaro's been with me since Revolution,
mm.
since day one. He's an OG,
Yeah.
and Danny Cuoto's been in the band since Confession. There's
Mm,
another OG, but put together with Sal, our guitar player Sal, our guitar player Jess De Hoyos, and our percussionist vocalist Miggy Sanchez. I mean, those guys are just pure fucking joy to work with. They're great
mm,
guys. They're super talented musicians, and we just have a fucking blast on the road. Like it doesn't feel like a chore. I think that
mm,
that's one of the biggest problems with bands that the minute that going on tour and being in a tour bus or being in a hotel and being around each other becomes a chore, it becomes
Mm,
a hassle, that's when things are not good. You know what
mm,
I mean? Um,
mm.
and I think that with us, when we get along fucking great, we have a great time. We're always fucking joking around, and you'll see they fucking shine on the new album. Everyone is crushing. We're firing on all cylinders right now, and this is definitely our record where people say these motherfuckers are back.
That's so good to hear. That's so good to
Yeah,
hear. And in terms of feeling like you're back, I guess if we look at the intervening time between, there's been a lot that's gone on in the world since you last toured Australia.
absolutely. Especially
And
with the fucking whole pandemic bullshit. Fuck all that. It's like
mm,
took 2 years from everybody's life that we can't get fucking back, right?
mm. It seems like the whole scene, like a lot of the bands that you're talking about, like the fact you're also bringing over ADEMA for their first time for the tour too, which I'm sure they're really excited about. Um,
Yeah, they're our friends, and I think that it would strengthen the tour, and I think it would have been fun. We played a show with them for New Metal Revolution in Mexico City, and I
mm,
saw the guys. I saw Chris, I saw David, and we chatted for a minute, and they were like, "Hey, if you guys are gonna go anywhere international, we'd love to play with you guys." And I'm like, "Let's fucking go!" And it was great because our agent, Chuck Bernal, is the same agent we have now. We share the same agent, so it was easy as calling Chuck and say, "Hey, man, are these guys available for Australia?" He's like, "Yeah, they're available. Let's go." I'd rather
mm.
go to Australia with a package than without a package. You know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of Australia, do you have any certain memories that spring to mind from the times you've been touring? Like anything interesting or anything stand out for you from your time touring over here last? I know it's been a while.
What do you mean? Do I miss anything from Australia? You mean?
Or do you have any certain kind of standout memories, like any particular shows
Yeah,
or
I mean, I'll tell you, and I told the other people, I mean, the other interviewers, I'm married to an Australian girl, or Haley. I'm married to her for 18 years.
mm,
And my daughter was born in the Gold Coast in Australia.
mm,
And so Australia to me is my second home. I mean, I'm probably going to end up retiring in Australia, to be honest with you.
mm.
Uh, and we love it there. It's fucking awesome there. And we, yeah, we're psyched to get back. I'm psyched to get back. We love the Australian crowd. I mean, they're so fucking lively and so crazy. They're a bunch of crazy motherfuckers, man, for sure. So we can't wait. We can't wait to come in and fuck shit up over there for sure.
Awesome. And I think before we sort of wrap things up, what kind of, I guess there's a lot of people who maybe they were into the scene back in the day or also might be thinking of starting a band. And new metal's always had, there's always been a bit of elitism and snobbery about new metal, but I guess you're evidence that that can persist past all that garbage, right? But for someone wanting to start their own kind of band in today's environment, because it's a bit of a different beast these days, cost of
Uh-huh.
living, all that sort of thing. What kinds of advice do you have for, say, younger folks looking to start up a similar sort of band in today's environment?
I really do think that it's fucking easier now than it's ever been
Mm,
because of social media and because of the internet. I
mm,
think that, you know, if you're able to, you know, there's all these artists that I see on TikTok that they work their asses off. They do covers, they do singles, they do snippets, and they put them up on their social media and they blow up. They
mm,
become huge fucking bands. I've seen a bunch of them, that started from nowhere, and then 2 years later they're headlining club tours
mm,
and making money and doing well. I mean, I just think that back in the day it was a lot harder. You had to get a record deal. You had to find a record label. You had to get them to fund your record label, and then move forward
mm,
and be and play music, um, and have them fund your album and then record your album, and so on and so forth. These days, the funding part. might come harder because you don't have the money, but there's all these recording programs. You can give a recording program for 50 fucking dollars,
Mm.
and you can record on your computer.
Mm.
And obviously, I know it's a lot of work, but you can at least put the work in and get the results
Mm.
because of the internet and because of social media, and spread the word. It's a lot easier to spread the word than when it was back in the day. I remember back in the fucking mid 80s, you know, I go to a printing shop and I get a piece of paper and I cut it into four and put advertising, and I would see Megadeth play a show or Metallica play a show or Anthrax play a show, and I'd go to that show and I'd stand outside for 2 fucking hours in the rain or whatever I had to do to give out flyers and be like, hey, come to my little band. I have a little gig, 100 people down the fucking block, from
Mm.
this big arena. And I would sit there and spend 2, 3 hours of my fucking day giving out flyers.
Mm.
And then you would have a sold out show, even 100 people, 120 people. And then your shows would do great because of that, because you were actually in control of your own success or your own demise. And I think
Mm.
that it's easier now because you don't have to leave your fucking house if you don't want to. You
Mm.
don't have to print. You don't have to print any. It doesn't cost you to print anything. It doesn't cost you to do anything. You just your fucking phone. I mean, I see all these Asian bands, like all these bands for Thailand and Japan and China, and they fucking shoot full on videos with their iPhone,
Mm.
like full the fuck on. I mean, dude, you would never be ever fucking imagine that this was shot on a fucking iPhone.
Mm.
And you see some of these videos, and then they're getting 4 million, 3 million views, 6 million views on a video that cost 20 fucking dollars to make.
Mm.
You know, so I think that
Mm.
a lot of artists need to kind of really really hone into the DIY shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you have the fucking tools in front of you. It isn't like you had to find the tools back in the day. Now you
Mm.
have the tools, so it's kind of up to you, right? If you want to
Mm.
put in the time, if you want to obsess and really really be, you know, uh, to work hard on your craft and work, you could record 50 fucking songs and put a song out every week for a whole year
Mm.
until you blow. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing a lot of artists, man. That I'm telling you, I follow a bunch of artists from like told you, from Japan, China, Thailand, France, Germany. Out of nowhere, they're putting out a video of doing album covers, and then every 3, 4 album covers they put in their own song, and
Mm.
then 3 more, 4 album covers in their own song, and they're building, these massive, massive social media accounts where now they can release their own fucking music and people will listen because they put in the work. So if you want to put in the work, you'll be successful. If you don't want to put in the work, you're not going to be successful. It's as easy as that.
And I think that's the take home message, isn't it? Whether it's social media or other forms of hustling as a musician, as an
Absolutely.
entrepreneur, at the end of the day, and you guys are evidence, you've been working hard, you're still touring hard, you're still pushing to get music promoted, you're still putting in the work
Absolutely.
after all this time. So I'm
Yeah. I,
excited
I wouldn't I
for,
wouldn't have it any other fucking way, man. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
I learned in the hardcore years. I've been doing music for 40 years, and I've
mm,
seen it change, come and go in many many different ways. Like I said before, I was in a band called Gothic Slam originally in the mid 80s. Then I joined
mm,
a band called Las Rocket from San Francisco. We signed to Capitol. Then we were doing, I did 3 records with a band called MOD, Method of Destruction. Joined a band called Propane. I played in Soulfly for a little while, for a short
mm,
interim. And then I started El Nino in 98. And, you know, it's not for everyone, but
mm,
if you love it and you want it bad enough, I mean, I can't tell you how many fucking houses I've been evicted from when I was a kid. I can't tell you how many times I
mm,
have my car fucking repoed.
mm,
You know what I mean? Because
mm,
I wanted it. I wanted this lifestyle. I wanted to make it in music. And you know, I've slept on fucking people's couches, whatever the fuck I had to do. In between jobs, I would go on tour. I come home to a fucking eviction notice in my house. So, okay, you got to get the fuck out. You haven't paid rent.
Mm.
So, and you just have to, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
If you don't want it bad enough, don't do it because there's no initial, riches. You're not
Mm.
going to make money. You're going to be broke as fuck in the beginning.
Mm.
So, so it's like you have to make a choice. You want to be broke for a little while and hopefully work hard enough that you make it into the business, or you don't.
Mm. And I'm glad that you guys did and have managed to make it. And we're going to be seeing
Thank
the
you.
fruits of your labor with your new, by the time that you reach our shores, you're going to have new material
A new
for,
album out, new
yep.
album, new videos, the whole 9 yards.
And I think you're going to have a very, very keen Australian audience in us because it's been a while. And
Absolutely.
we're going to give you our on brand pattern of manic moshing, I reckon, for this run
Fuck
of
yeah.
shows. So
Are you
look
going to be at the
forward to
show?
that.
Which show are you going to?
I'll be probably at the Melbourne one,
Badass.
Melbourne show. Yeah. So,
Rainy Melbourne. Rainy
yep,
Melbourne.
yep. You'll see if you see a guy run in and about 20 seconds go out and then be puffed for the rest of the show, that's me.
Well, make sure you come backstage and say hello. Let Jonathan Howard know that I want to meet you backstage, and to
Oh
come
yeah.
by and say hello.
Awesome, man. Absolutely.
All
Look forward to it. All
all
right.
right, brother.
Excellent. Thanks for your time, Dave, and we look
Thank you
forward to
very much. I
catching
really
you on the
appreciate it.
upcoming
Can't
tour.
wait to hit Australia, and can't wait to come in and fucking invade.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Cheers, Dave. Thanks,
Cheers,
man.
brother. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I am back with my official co-host Butters. Those of you listening in the podcast may not be able to hear him. Let's see if we can get him to. Nope, nope, he's not gonna meow. The one time of the day you're not gonna meow. Anyway, Butters and I would like to remind you all of the upcoming tour, which is occurring in September 2025. So we have them playing. Ill Nino will be in the country with ADEMA, and this will be ADEMA's first Australian tour. So they will be joining us on Friday the 12th of September in Sydney at Liberty Hall, Saturday the 13th of September in Melbourne at Max Watts, and Sunday the 14th of September in Brisbane at the Triffid. Pre-sale tickets have already gone up. Otherwise, you'll be able to buy them from octoberpresents.com/Il Nino 2025. We will have all the tour dates and information up on the website. So be sure to check out innerstrengthcheckpodcast.com for all the tour information and more cats who bolt off at the end of a video. As always, peace, love, and grindcore, or in this case, peace, love, and Latin-inspired groove metal. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the pit. Take it easy.